Let's make it a perfect night.
What is that? Mom, you need to come right now.
You've said before that Steven Spielberg was a massive influence for you.
Yeah.
And in a way, this is kind of a bit, in the way it's Super 8. You've got these kids who are kind of love cinema. You've got the lead female character who, she wants to make this great documentary. So there's kind of like a similarity there. Did you think about that when you were making the movie?
Well, not the similarities, but that it's easy to write a character who loves cinema. And so when I thought of her being, an aspiring filmmaker, it was so easy to write her character. And then when I was directing her, I was literally telling her the things she says are the things I believe about cinema. She's not, I didn't put random lines in there. That's what I think about movie making. And so I was teaching her about filmmaking and framing and this and where my aesthetics come from. So it did remind me of me at 15, 16, kind of aspiring to be a filmmaker.
I think it's a really positive image you have of the girl being the filmmaker, especially nowadays when, there has been studies out saying that, 50% of the film industry believe that movies that women make are more catered towards smaller audiences. And you've got this girl here who is actually taking a role. Did you think about that when you were casting and thinking about that character?
I'm very much a promoter of female characters, I enjoy, I have, a lot of girls in the family, so it's always a concentration on that point of view. It comes very naturally to me to think about characters from a female perspective. The Village was, for me, primarily a female perspective, and The Visit here, and I enjoy strong female roles, writing them and watching them. So I hope all of this kind of discrepancy goes away over time.
But do you think that is kind of you can make a positive step to kind of influence more young women to actually get into the industry? Because there isn't really that many women making film roles, making films themselves. So is that something you kind of want to do with your movies, or is it something you've had to think about a bit more, especially when Hollywood sexism is so rife at the moment?
Yeah, I'm such a promoter of the female perspective in cinema that I seek out female directors to direct my TV shows. Like I go and find them and ask them, will you direct this and direct that? I'm a big promoter of even my crew members. Like I'm like, ooh, like the cinematographer for The Visit is a French woman who I love. I love her point of view. I seek out, like part of me wanted an all-female crew because it would balance my kind of masculine tendency, so we would have together a kind of a viewpoint, especially with a female protagonist.
I was going to ask as well that, there is a twist in this.
I don't know.
Viewers, there is a twist, and we will not reveal this twist. But do you feel that people are, like the viewers are always kind of expecting that?
Well, they will now.
Well, they will, but I feel like, there is an expectation because historically speaking, your movies have had twists.
3 of them of 10.
Yeah, okay.
So 30%.
My 3 favorite films.
So there's a kind of a sense of what you're experiencing when you see the movies and what I do as a writer. And for me, when I'm writing, it's very organic. The best way to write is from inside out, from the character out, So the character will create plot, and that creates structure. And you don't do it the reverse way. Otherwise, you're reverse engineering, in an artificial way. And everybody is artificial in life to some extent, and saying, we have an action film with this action star, let's have 7 action sequences. Okay, who's the character? And you work backwards, But that's one way to make it. And we won't say it in a pejorative way, but that's one way to make it. But for me as a writer, coming from character and how to write very complex characters, and then I tell you about these complex characters in a very unusual way, in a very deliberate way, so that you may think they're this way, and then they go right, and then left, It's all about how you're revealing the characters and the information that the other characters have. So it's not, there's no dance moves, it's not like, there's no that kind of pressure. And the more complex the character, the more interesting it is to write. So you perceive it as different things, and so The Visit and my movies have very unexpected things that happen in them.
Would you mind getting inside the oven to clean it?